Drop the roof and let the smoke clear.
Yo, what's good, everybody? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the SarCAST podcast today with Mirko and Awashi Hoshi. How you doing, Arashi? How you doing? SarCAST podcast number 2, second week in a row.
Good. I overate on like spicy food, so a lot of Indonesians can relate to that. I feel kind of bloated, but it's fine. We good. I can't get over the intro.
What intro? The dab?
Your fucking stream intro.
But yeah, bro, that's it. You know, we're here, boys. I told you guys a few seconds. We're literally, a few seconds. A few seconds is all it takes. Okay. So we had a couple of issues early on just now because I was like, there's some technical issues that I was going through, but it's fine. It's fine now. We're all good, ladies and gentlemen. And today, wait, first let's shout out the people in the chat who have who've been here from the start of the stream. What's up, Kong Zaytao, Ayaman M, Eldoba, Catalino Caparoz, Ailius Onichan, Gino Cruz from Dubai, Fiotant, Catalino again. We also have Sheffin, Gabriel, Chea, and everybody in the chat. Thank you. Welcome everybody to the SarCAST podcast. But firstly, guys, before we get started, honestly, right now, I feel like we're just gonna chill out, right? We're gonna chill out first. Just have like a couple of minutes to talk about what's happening in life, Arashi. Are you doing good, man? Are you doing good? Except for all the spicy food that you ate, because I also had. Yeah, I had a little bit too much spicy food yesterday, and I got a pretty bad stomachache. I couldn't even stream yesterday.
It's just what casters do on their like off period,
Yeah.
right? Because usually, I don't know, I avoid spicy food when I'm like on duty.
Yes.
Just, it's not funny when you're about to cast a
Yes.
spicy match and you got something spicy going on inside, right? It's never a good idea. So, yeah, when it's off season, we just go ham on the spicy food, dude.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. All right. So season 7 was the first season I casted for MPID, and there's this food, there's a snack in Indo called macaroni ngehe, and Arashi here, he's the guy who told me about it, right? Because I had the snack growing up in school, but I didn't buy it. It was like it comes in little packages, so I just ate it at school. I didn't know they sold it outside of school. I thought it was like I don't know, for some reason I thought it was a my school only thing. So when he told me about it, I was like, damn, I used to love this. Let me just buy it. Let me just buy the spiciest level of this snack. So
Size too, right?
yeah, and it's like.
Comes in a box.
It comes in a box. So it was pretty. Yeah, there's a lot of it. So I ate it as a snack. Season 7 started, and yeah, I mean, I had to hold in a lot of shits during season 7. I gotta be honest, man. There were a few times where I was just like, all right, I need to go. And then when they called it to break, when they cut it, I just like, all right, I'm bouncing out of here. So yeah, we after that experience, I've learned, and I think Arashi, without having that experience, has learned as well not to go for spicy food. You see, guys, all right? There's someone in chat saying L spice tolerance. No, my tongue is fine.
No.
My ass is not. When it comes to spicy food, man, my tongue is fine. Like literally, I don't get spiciness is all right for me. It's all good.
Yeah, it's what happens on the way out that's like a
Yes.
concern, Because like you can hold in like normal course of nature, but when you have spicy food in the mix, whew, buddy, you gotta go.
Yeah, you
You
gotta
gotta
go.
in, dude. That's
Yeah. But yeah,
a different ballgame.
it is. It really is, man. But today we have a few spicy topics up in here. All right, Arashi, we have a few
A
spicy
segue.
topics.
Okay.
There are a few spicy topics here, but I think everyone in the chat has been really curious about the Ducky and Zace little problem going on, right? So I couldn't find the screenshots on Google, so I don't have the pictures ready, but we are going to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. So chill out, all right? We're going to be talking about that. But before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about... Tell me, Arashi, during casting, what's your craziest experience during casting MPLID or MSC, because we did it 2021? Just craziest
MSC,
casting
particular?
experience overall. Doesn't matter what event.
Oh, doesn't matter what event.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be when I come in, right, thinking it's gonna be another day at the job, right, being an analyst, being referred to as bookman as always.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, right, things happened. We were down a guy, and the future
Someone
Professor
got close
Kilby himself
contact?
stepped in. Someone got close contact, yeah. he was in close proximity with us as well, so it was a bit of a scare. But we're down a guy. It's just me and Mirko, and we're like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Like we have no idea. I don't know. The future himself, Professor Key, just steps in, and before you know it, he's gonna be an analyst on the English desk, and now I'm main casting with Mirko in the co-caster seat. That's gonna be the craziest day, dude. I almost died because like we were using the first time play-by-play, right? It was fire matches as well, right? So a lot of things first time. I'm not used to a lot of these, and we're doing like we're still in high alert for COVID, so I was wearing a mask as well. Dude, I was suffocating, man. That is not fun. It's a crazy experience.
That was actually insane. That was literally insane. Like, you know what?
There's no chance to like be nervous. It's like it's happening right there. There was no time to like even think about it.
It was so man, that was crazy. That was insane, you know. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about the story, right? So basically we're not going to do the long story short. We're going to do the long story. Doom, all right? So we went in, normal day. Me and Arashi. I was showing Arashi a video on my iPad, you know. It was like a cinematic trailer or something. And I was telling people to watch. I was like, "Hey, everybody, look at this. Look at this. This is fun. This is good. You guys should watch this." Yeah, come on. And so everybody did. Everyone was like, we were just, you know, huddling around. Oh, Yukimura, thank you so much for the 125 pesos, man. Sub to both hypercarry English casters. Hey, thank you so much, Yukimura. Thank you so much for the 125 pesos in the super chat. But yeah, back to the story. We were in a huddle. Gonnie's on my right, Arashi's on my left, or like Gonnie's like on Arashi's right. I forgot where the positioning is, but we're just all very close together, right? Yep. So we're watching this thing, and suddenly, our talent manager, she's like, "You know what, Gonnie, come out a little bit." I didn't know what she wanted with him, but you know, we didn't ask. We didn't ask. We were just like, "All right, whatever. It's a talent manager thing. That's you know,
privacy.
Yeah, privacy. Whatever. Cool." He goes out. And we were just chilling. We were just, all right. We were laughing. We were talking about the cinematic trailer. We were talking about this and that. All of a sudden, the town manager comes back to the room. Like, how many minutes?
Where the hell is he? Like, it's been a long time. We haven't been seeing him, and it's getting closer to like the air time. So like, what's going on?
Where did Gonnie go? We were just like, I think it was like 15 minutes or something, and we were just like, where did Gonnie go? He just went out with what is he doing? And then town manager comes in the room. Boom. Guys, I want everyone to get out. Stay calm. Gonnie tested positive. She said that in the chillest way possible, and I was like, "Damn." All right. Well, then we all the talents there were just like, "Okay. Well, let's move out." We were wearing masks again. I think some of us wore double masks. And we went out. We chilled a bit. We spoke a little bit, and we were all just like, I was literally next to the guy. We were literally next. We were very close. So, and we were all just like, all right, I guess we do this, and then we test again tomorrow, right? I think it's on a Sunday though. Luckily, right, Arashi? It was on a Sunday, or is it Saturday?
Was it? Might be a Sunday. I'm not quite sure.
I'm pretty sure it's a Sunday because the next day we didn't have any schedule. We didn't have a schedule to cast anymore, right? So that's what happened. We went back to cast. We went back to the room, and we we're just like, so how are we gonna do this? Initially, what our Muntan boss told us was like, you just needed to do it duo cast. You just need to do it duo cast, right? Which we did. Which we kind of did. At one point.
Duo cast as well. Different story though.
Different story. Mm-hmm. Onwawa, and in that story, Onwawa was called to the Indo desk because Oji was not feeling well, right? But it wasn't because of COVID. He was just not feeling well. I think the guy works so hard, man. So he just, you know. Yeah. But back again, Gonnie goated. So can you show Gonnie's picture? Dude, I don't want to show Gonnie's picture. This is not a happy story for Gonnie, so no Gonnie picture. But yeah, he went back home. We went back to the town room, and they sanitized the whole place. They were like, you guys gotta do the duo cast. And then KB, the man, the myth, the legend. But wait, Fritz, thank you so much. Mirko Sui, 23K. Thank you so much, Fritz. Much appreciated. Sui. But yeah. And we went back, KB, like Arashi said. So I'm going to elaborate, all right? He didn't just say, I'm gonna be an analyst. He was like, Arashi, and he told the boss as well. Her name is Gios, whatever. Gios, I will sit on the English desk, okay? But in one condition. There's one condition. Arashi needs to play by play. And I'm like, I'm down for it, bro. I am down for it. Yes, let's go. I will color. And KB's like, do we do it? Do we do it? And then Chias, the Moonton talent boss, kind of, right? I don't know what her official title is. Yeah, but she's like, this sounds crazy, but okay. So who's gonna be the analyst in the Indo desk? Pak Pulung. He's like, Maji, I got you. It's just like, oh shit. Yo, what's going on? We're literally like swapping everybody's roles. Pak Pulung, play-by-play man, who usually I don't think he's ever analyzed wow, that's actually pretty crazy. That was his first time being an analyst as well, no?
Yeah, it was another was it another event or a different day? But there was a time where he was on an analyst, and people said it was fun because usually the analyst is just a bit boring, the analyst section, right? But with Pak Pulung, like on the analyst section, people want to be there, and they actually pay more attention to the post-game screens, just because it's Pak Pulung as an analyst. So they thought there was potential there, and the joke among, as far as I know, in the Indo community was like, hey, Pak Pulung actually has potential to be an analyst. So yeah, they were pretty much pushing for that. But yeah, after like that was settled, I think they were asking me as well, like, is this okay? You want to play by play? And I don't know, I was trying to push myself, so I'm like, fuck it, yo.
You gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. Yeah. But yeah, man. Arashi, he took it like a champ, but he was wearing a mask there, right? Because of obviously the scare. So we all were wearing masks during the cast. And at one point, the games that he was casting were pretty intense. So at one point, there was a moment where Arashi lost his breath. I think you told me that you almost you almost fainted at the caster desk.
I almost threw up, basically, what I could feel. But so Omwa was also saying, right, this one, not Omwa, was like, KB and you were also saying that, like, I was looking like hella pale because of, like, poor respiration. But yeah, I distinctly recall it was really bad, and I was like, at the end of the day, I was like out of breath, and like my voice was out because I wasn't using proper technique, right? Mirko can tell you more about that, but there is some proper technique to be used when you're casting, right? And I wasn't used to it as a play-by-play person,
Yeah.
But then right there, at the end of the last game, like there was a sequence and it was so long and I had no oxygen left, so I just gestured to Mirko like, yo, like help me out.
Yeah.
I did a small pass and we got through it, and of course it's not as good, it's not like top quality, but I think overall it went out pretty good.
Yeah. I believe it's one of the plays that happened during your cast was the Selly Boy moment where he just ulted to the bush and he spotted like 5 rebellion members.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
And perfect timing. DJY is in the chat. What's up, DJY? This guy actually clipped that moment. So if you guys want to see Arashi cast, play by play, it's literally just look. I forgot the title. It's something like, I can't believe this happened in MPLID. The early skirmish. Remember with like the triple kill by Dyren early on against Alter Ego. That's the play that Arashi casted there too.
Crazy day. Like everything was just chaos in that day.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, it was a sign.
Like,
it was a sign to get ready. It was a sign from up above. He's like, everybody get ready. We're gonna shoot some hints here and there, about the chaos that's about to happen. Well, it all turned out good. I mean, yeah, I feel like it was entertaining. I feel like it was good. It was a good change of pace. Arashi screamed at his lungs.
I was screaming my lungs out. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Professor KB was making a lot of jokes from the analyst desk as well, which is in a way like it's just unusual. We're not like used to it, so it's a nice change of pace. It's pretty like it's a lot more lighthearted than what we're used to, I think.
Absolutely, But before we get into the first topic of the day, I guess we can kind of talk about something that's been going around, guys. All right, so something we spoke about the global ban system last stream, last podcast, and a lot of the media, a lot of journalists took our discussion about global ban and they put it up in their website. Some of them even called me Handy Mirko Loho. It's Frederick Mirko Loho. Handy's my middle name, but mistakes happen. It's fine, no worries. But yeah, back again to the topic at hand, global ban. I think we were pretty vocal about our opinions about not wanting it to be implemented in MPL. And maybe I feel like we just didn't really explain it that well, like why we didn't want it, right? Because there's a lot of mixed opinions here, especially in Indo. I believe I've seen a lot because from what I've seen in the comment sections in the Clippers channels and international media, they're all pretty they mostly were agreeing with us. Most of the people who are watching agreed with our opinions on global ban.
It's with the concerns that we
yeah.
have, right?
But in Indonesia, I feel like there are more people who are with that movement. You know, we want it to be global ban. We want MPLID season 9 to be global ban. Season 10 to be global ban. MSC M5. You see, MHAN XX. No worries, man. Again, it's fine to disagree. We're all humans here. You guys have an opinion. It's fine. You know, I'm personally, I don't think it will be good for MPL, but I never know. Maybe it will be good, right? Some people are saying W global ban. Some people are saying Ls, but I will explain why. Do you want to go first, Arashi?
Well, we already explored it pretty deeply. I think it's the issue with like some of the articles I've seen are very much provocative, right? It's saying it puts everything to extremes. Like, oh, Arashi and Mirko, MPL ID English casters, are adamantly vocal.
Handy
against...
Mirko Loho.
The funny thing is, by the way, right? I was telling Mirko a story about how a friend of mine was telling his friend, my friend's friend, was telling him that like, yeah, I hate these two casters. They're talking shit about the global bans, and then my friend recognized me and was like, oh damn, it's my friend, and he pretended not to not know me to avoid the drama. But he sent me an article where like his friend's friend was having an issue with, and on that article it says like, yeah, MPL caster Handy Mirko Loho, and then like before the podcast I showed him another article, right, just because I was looking up stuff for the podcast, and it says Handy Mirko Loho as well, so it's just kind of funny because like, yeah, you guys probably know, right, his name is like Frederick Handy Loho, so like, who the hell is Handy, dude?
It's my middle name, man. It's my middle name. It's Frederick Handy Loho. Frederick Mirko Loho. Yeah, whatever.
Jokes.
It is very jokes though. But yeah, what do you think, Arashi, though, about global ban? Why do you think it shouldn't be implemented? Because I feel like we didn't really explain that much, and maybe that's why a lot of people are like, oh yeah, these casters are dumbasses, man. They don't want the pro players to have deep hero pools.
Well, no, it's not about the hero pools. I feel like,
I mean, I would love it.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I think there's benefits there as well, but I've always felt like the idea of a competitive game, right, a sport, it's cool because everything is in a way limited, you know? That's where you can actually show your skills despite the limitations. For example, like Mirko's an adamant like football fan, right?
If
you can use your
triggered.
hands in football, right, don't see the cool like, you know, leg techniques, etc. that like players can pull off. You know, overhead kicks, no one's going to do that because you can just like smack the ball. So I always felt like with some limitations it's better, and with rigidity, with a routine, right? That's where you can actually practice and like rehearse the same formula and perform the same things at the highest level. You know, when things become too random, too RNG, right? If let's say global bands come in and like, okay, you never really know what kind of compositions you can actually get. It just feels a bit too random for me. So I think that's like one of my main concerns.
Yeah, and there's a fun point I'd like to add as well. But thank you. Before that, Joe, are your mama jokes cool here? Yes, they are cool, Joe Mama. You can go for your mama jokes. Thank you so much for the 10K donation, man. Much appreciated. Arashi was talking, so I didn't want to cut him for that donation. But yeah. Going back to your point, going back to a point that someone in the chat has actually mentioned, Vincent TM, thank you so much for bringing this up. Global bans have already been used in other MOBAs, in all other MOBAs, right? So, fun fact, I used to be in the amateur scene of MOBA, like professionally as well. But yeah, we can compare some of these MOBAs, right? From the MOBAs that I've seen who are using this global ban system, it's always the MOBAs that I feel like aren't too interesting. I'm not gonna lie, right? There's a few competitors of MLBB out there who have used a global ban system, and most of the other times that they do use this global ban is because it's a new game. It's a new game. There are only a very few heroes there, right? So you only see literally the same heroes being picked up every single game. It's always that. And they only have 3 bans. That's the reason. Most of the times that the global ban just comes up and is used. But as you can see, I mean, you can go and research it. I've done my research as well. If you go up, you search up the big MOBAs, the World Championship, everything. Tell me one big MOBA in a big scale event, right? I'm not talking about the amateur tournaments. I'm talking about the big scale events. I'm talking about World Championship level events or just like league level events. You know, the league system, just like MPL. Name one that has used the global ban system. I can't name it. I can't name it because I feel like, just like Arashi, with the normal ban system right now, the draft system that we have, it enables these coaches to really deep dive on like what do we want to ban, what do we want to prioritize, what do we want to go for as a first pick, etc. Right? You can see. I mean, if let's talk about that global ban system. Sure, people will be forced to learn more heroes. I think that's a positive, but we can't just be looking at that one point, because that's the only thing I've seen people bring out in the arguments. You know, they're all just like, yeah. You have more hero pool. You have more hero pool. You have more hero pool. Sure, but the thing is, there's just a lot of things. There's just a lot of things that come down to it, right? That the coaches need to deep dive on. The thing is, if you add that global ban system, I feel like it adds a little bit too much RNG. You pick Xavier in the first game, next game you can't play, but the enemy team can pick up the Xavier. So it's the same thing, I feel like. You know, it really is the same thing, but with more restrictions, it makes it even more complicated for no reason, I believe. And the thing is, if you're talking about most of the games being global ban, it doesn't make sense. Maybe if it's a best of 7, it makes sense because you're actually going to see what global ban is going to bring in terms of hero pool. But if we're talking about best of 3s, are you really going to see the global ban? Are you really going to see that many different heroes? I don't think so, right? You see the Xavier, you see the Yve, you see the Sicilian. You're going to see those 3 heroes picked every single game. The only difference being game 1 is Team A who picks it. Game 2 is Team B who picks it. I feel like it's the same thing. We're just changing it, right? The thing is, if we don't have that global ban system, Team A can constantly just ban that Xavier, and Team B, the guy who only plays Xavier, can't play it anymore. You know what I mean? You can do that. We saw that in MSC. Franco, Vin banned out the whole time, and it works. That's it. Like if we had that global ban, sure, just Vin picks it up game number 1 and they can swap. But then Light can't play Kufra twice, and the composition just doesn't work anymore, and they will have to find something else. And sometimes it's a little bit too RNG. It's a little bit too random. You know, it takes away the competitive aspect of it. It's like if you're in a football match, you switch the football with a basketball.
Sure, if you use a different ball every game in the name of like, okay, so we don't see the same shots. But that's what we want to see, you know? Like even if you see like Vin spam Franco, okay, seeing what teams can do, right, to circumvent the Franco problem is also part of what makes the game entertaining, you know? And if you just say, okay, they can only use it once, so like it kind of like takes that away from like our, you know, viewer experience. This is a donation, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to go right after you're done with your point. Thank you so much for the Yo Mama joke, Joe. Much appreciated, man. Thank you so much for the donation again as well. But right, that's my opinion. That's my opinion on the global ban. That's Arashi's opinion on the global ban, and I'm pretty sure that KB has also been pretty vocal about the global ban system. Right? He also has said that he personally doesn't like the global ban as well, or maybe he does like it, but he's like MPL. I don't think is ready for global ban. Right? We'll see though, because we never know. We might just see it next season. Maybe they're trying to test it out in the MDL play-ins. MDL play-ins was successful. I loved watching the games there. There were a lot of heroes picked, obviously a lot of unique heroes picked because of that global ban system. And maybe in the future we're gonna get it. Maybe they're gonna start with MDL season 7, season 6 later on, then MPL season 11, and maybe it just keeps on going on, right? But for now, I do think that with the amount of heroes that are meta, especially in this current patch, I'd like to see it not change. I'd like to see it right here. Yeah, it displays your reserves and depth. Yeah, and you get punished for not banning something, right? I mean, yeah, you get punished for not banning something. Let's say I don't ban Xavier game 1. Game 2, he can't pick the Xavier anymore. But if I don't ban Xavier every single game in a normal draft, then the enemy team is gonna get Xavier every single time, and you don't have to adapt. Right? If you have the global ban system, you don't have to adapt. You're just like, all right, he picked Xavier game 1. He won on it. Let's just do the same thing again for game 2. I don't know. I don't like the global ban. You know?
Yep. And I think it's cool that you can force that ban, because like again, some teams we've seen like SNG just force a ban that's just not meta. You know, I'm sorry to come up with an example right now, but there's been plenty of times in last season where someone just picked a hero that's just really off meta, and then they force like, I guess especially because Mirko is a Bigatron fan, like when Rainbow was like picking the Sicilian, remember, like, so scenes like that, you know, where like, okay, it's an off meta pick, but he's so good at it that we're forced to ban it, you know, and that if you do ban it, it opens up all kinds of other problems as well. So that adds to the depth of the strategy level as well for both teams. So I guess you're just trading like strategy for hero pool, right? So make of that what you will. But I really think that like the strategy level it's part of what makes the top tier competitive scene just a lot more entertaining, though.
Yeah, so I guess that's it for the global bans. We're just kind of we're just talking about it a little bit more, right? Because obviously, because of all the controversy going on, I don't even know why it's controversial. It's like it's an opinion, you know. I don't know why it's like controversial in the first place, because it's literally just an opinion. Obviously, everyone has a different opinion. I could be wrong again, right? Maybe it will be more fun. Maybe. I'm not saying it's never going to be implemented. I'm not saying that it's not going to be fun to see it happen once in a while. I said that it will work well, especially in MDL play-ins. And we'll see. We'll see. As ML develops, as MPL develops, as the Mobile Legends esports scene develops, maybe we will get to see how they implement global ban. And maybe it's going to be a good implementation of the system. But for now, I think it's safe to say, for me personally, that I don't want to see it in MPL ID. Let's move on to the next topic, though, Arashi. There's a lot of spicy rumors, right? We've been talking a lot about the Indonesian rumors. I mean, Kyrie last time joining with Coach Yeb. Delarski now going to Evo's Geek Fam, still hasn't revealed the rosters, but there's something brewing in the Burmese scene, ladies and gentlemen. Ruby DD is rumored right now to be joining Falcon Esports from AI Esports. Now, this is insane, right? Shout out to, proudly presented by Eternity. Shout out to Eternity, the news source that posted this. I just took a screenshot of theirs. And shout out to Fiotant, my follower, my moderator as well, who's been following me all the way since I had like 30 active viewers. He DM'd me this, and he told me all about it. Then I messaged some pro players as well. I was like, what is going on? Is this real, right? Because it might just be a rumor. It might just be crazy. Someone just said it and someone else just blew it out of proportions. But guys, again, if you guys want to say something in the chat, we will have a segment to to talk about that and stuff. So please don't spam. Oslek, please don't spam, man. You're gonna get muted by my moderator. You're going to be timed out. Don't spam the chat. Say it once, say it twice. I will be trying to read it all, obviously, but we're gonna be talking about the topic first. Now, Ruby DD to Falcon. What? If you guys don't know, just as an introduction, in case people don't know who Ruby DD is, in case you're new to the MLBB scene, Ruby DD, he's a legendary player. He's literally a mythical creature, right? This guy is the guy who made that. He popularized the Lunox combo at M2. He's the M2 finalist. He's the pride of the Burmese for sure, with the entire roster, I believe, of AI Esports. And for him to be leaving that AI Esports roster, the Burmese Ghouls roster that made it all the way to the grand finals of M2, and the fact that he's moving not to any other org, but to their rival organizations, Falcon Esports. This is big news. And the thing is, he's a gold laner. So who is he going to replace? He's a gold laner. Does he go to the gold lane, or does he move to the mid lane? Maybe he goes to the jungle, because as far as I know, Falcon Esports, their roster is pretty solid. They have Justin in the mid lane, who's pretty good at the game. Pretty good. Silent in the gold lane is decent as well. Decent, and also obviously Ken in the jungle. So there's just a lot of things to talk about here. Where will Ruby DD go? This star gold laner. Because there's something else here, Arashi, that I want to point out. Right as this rumor was getting crazy, something else popped up. Silent took a picture and posted on his FB story. Bye. Okay. Now is Silent leaving? Is Silent leaving? Question mark. Is Ruby DD going to the gold lane? This is posted by in Silent's FB story. I forgot the date, but it was posted right after like all this chabloomy got out. Okay, so this is interesting right here.
It is. I mean, is it a coincidence, right? Will be the main question. To be honest, I wasn't really up to date with these the more international scenes, because obviously Mirko was actually there. He met the players, but I wasn't, so I wasn't really updated on the situation. But I saw myself. I was actually on duty in the Indonesian desk when Falcon Esports was playing, so pretty cool. But I don't know. That'll be a pretty big move. I mean, from what I hear, these are the two biggest names, right? It's a bit like if someone moved from EVOS to RRQ,
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Exactly. It's rival. They're rival organizations here. So, it's literally kind of like, let's say, moved over from EVOS to RRQ. And that's kind of the story here going on, because they're the two biggest teams, I feel like, right? With Trend as well, in Myanmar. But Fio, again, in the chat, he's here. He's basically saying as well that it might also be just silent. He just, maybe he's doing this to troll everyone, right? Maybe it's a picture of him flying back to Myanmar from Malaysia, from MSC. Maybe, right? Maybe the Ruby DD rumor isn't going to be, maybe he doesn't move. That's also a thought that you guys can keep in mind. This is still obviously just a rumor, but I do feel like right now, Falcon, they kind of need someone like Ruby DD. They need someone with crazy levels of experience, right? And if you have that person, someone like Ruby DD in that team, he's gonna add so much, not just from the obviously individual skill in that goal lane, but the macro, the decision making, the experience, the knowledge as well to the team, so that the team can keep on flourishing, keep on growing. Especially because Falcon, they were performing out of their minds at MSC, right? With this addition, if Ruby DD actually does jump in, move over to Falcon, it's going to be huge for Falcon. I feel like they're going to be better because of this. But now let's talk about the other side, AI Esports. This is a team that they've been sticking with this roster for such a long time, since M2, right? I mean, technically since before M2, because they qualified to M2. They went all the way to the finals. Unfortunately, Myanmar had a few problems, so they weren't able to continue MPL Myanmar. And but they've always stuck through. They've always been the same group of people competing, right? Now Ruby DD out of AI Esports, they want to find a replacement for him, or do they want to just disband entirely? That's the big question, right? I feel like they're not going to disband, right? It's obviously an organization. But thank you so much, Chefin, for the 50K. I don't know why this popped up. It says I can super chat 50K for free. If I got scammed, send me 50K. Thank you so much. If that's actually free, thank you still. 50K. Thank you, Chefin. But yeah, the other side of the spectrum, Arashi. What do you think about AI Esports? They've been sticking together for such a long time.
Well, on one hand, it's the loss of a really old member. It must be really tough on the team. But we don't know what's going on in the management side as well, so maybe there's a good reason for it. And, there's nothing says they can't improve with the addition of a new player, We've always talked about the regeneration of talents and how, there's a lot of great, better people just popping up, right? The game is going so big, the level is just going higher and higher, and maybe a new player that can outshine the veterans can just show up, There's no harm in that happening. Because when the game stagnates, right? When it's just the same players again and again, and worse yet, if there's no improvements and people just stick around just because, it's never a good thing. So maybe some good things will happen from this, right? There's nothing to say that can't be the case. So I guess we'll just hope for the best.
Yeah, hopefully this does work for both parties, right? I mean, I would love to see Ruby DD competing again in the world, right? In the world championships, maybe possibly M4, because I think right now Falcon is definitely the best team at from Myanmar, right? They've displayed what they were all about. So let's see. Hopefully Ruby DD performs well as well. Maybe again, we don't know if this is actually true or not. We don't really know if this is actually confirmed or not. It's still a rumor that's floating around, but every single rumor has been pretty accurate nowadays, right? I've seen a few rumors and I've seen it all been it's all been facts so far. But thank you so much for the donation again from Super Chat K with the 15 Malaysian ringgit. Am I correct there? MYR?
I think so.
Yeah, Malaysian ringgit. Thank you so much, K, for the donation, man. Much appreciated. But let's talk about a different thing here, Rashi. We're going to be talking about something completely different already. Okay? We're talking about the Myanmar scene. Now let's talk about maybe the PH scene, right? Because they are the ISF. Well, they qualified for ISF. They were the ones to win it all, right? So let's just bring out the asset. Boom, bang, bada, bing. There you go. Blacklist ISF qualified. Now, this is a big story. This is another big story because it basically proves that Blacklist perhaps is going to be the only team that are not impacted by the M-World curse. Every single team who've won M4, I mean M-Worlds, the M-World series, EVOS Legends, they won the M-World, and they dropped instantly next season. They didn't make it to the playoffs, I believe, right? In Season 5. Then Bren Esports, basically the same thing. We saw them drop. They did make it to the playoffs, but they lost, right? They weren't as dominant as they were before after winning M2. So the big question after Blacklist won M3 was, will this be the same story? Will we see Blacklist International fail? Technically, they kind of did fail in Season 9 because they didn't make it to the playoffs, but that was without their real roster, right? That was without their full roster. So now, it's basically confirmed that with this full roster, they're still a menace, man. They're still a menace. And as an Indonesian, I don't want to see them as a menace. This is the scariest team in the world, maybe, for me. Yeah, I mean, again, right? As an Indonesian, this is the scariest team. That's respect given to Blacklist. This is the scariest team I've ever had to cast, watch, experience. I don't know why. When they go against Indo, it feels like they have no weaknesses. You can see weaknesses when they're up against everyone else. Then all of a sudden they go against Indo and they play it perfectly. It's crazy. Every time it matters, they play it perfectly. Like against Onic Philippines as well in the grand finals, right? They were knocked down to the lower brackets, man. Blacklist's run in M3 wasn't perfect, but guess what? They went up to the they went to the grand finals and they 4-0'd Onic PH. Come on, man. The scariest team. No way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about like how clean the decision making is and how unified this team is. Like the way they play is just like so synergized. It's kind of crazy. It's like they all operate. It's like they have like a hive mind thing going on almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Like you don't see any doubts. You know, sometimes you see a team play and you'll see some kind of, I don't know. There'll be some confusion. There'll be some conflict of like decision makings. But like when Blacklist plays, it's just so clean. And yeah, I mean, we as Indonesians, of course, you know, we're not really particularly happy seeing them just be so successful, but you can't argue with the facts, you know. I was on that episode of Gamers Paradise, right?
Gamers Paradise,
Leo.
yeah.
I was debating Leo, and he was making a case of like, yeah, Philippines has it all, man. It's over.
It's hard to debate
I'm
that.
honest
Yeah.
with you, man. I'm trying to like come up with some kind of like counter, and it's like, man, he low-key makes sense. Like,
It's really tough to argue, right? When you're talking about I mean, I watched that episode. If you guys haven't watched that, you guys should definitely check it out. Gamers Paradise is out. Arashi's in episode 2, but you guys can check out episode 1 as well. Momo-chan is in episode 1. So yeah, just all around, I feel like it's Gamers Paradise. Such a good show, man. Hopefully the next time they do it, you know, they can call me up maybe. But Gamers Paradise 2, Arashi spoke about it. Leo, so he had to make like an all-star team, an all-star Filipino team, and he just took Blacklist roster. And honestly, I would do the same. I would do the same. If you were to ask me right now, PH all-star team, go for it, Blacklist. I'll just say Blacklist International because of how dominant they've been. They've won everything that they've... Yeah, except for MSC last year, right? MPL Season 7, MPL Season 8. They lost MSC and MPLI, but M3 and C games. And now the Blacklist ISF, the ISF qualifiers as well, they've won. It's... I don't know. I feel like I don't know what to talk about anymore. These guys...
Mirko's signature phrase is always like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. And clearly...
It's definitely not broke.
What Blacklist has to do.
Yeah, I had my doubts as well a few times, right? I was like, okay, because they're not that active, you know, Venus, she's been playing in she's not been playing in the MPL, right? So C games, maybe her shot calling is gonna dip a little bit. Nope, that definitely didn't happen. And here too, what an impressive display of that macro skill again. Yeah, I think we discussed about this a little bit, Arashi, about that.
Watching clips, right?
A billion IQ play by Venus, that shot call when Wise died down below as a Baksha, as their frontliner, and she still made the call to go in. Everyone followed through, and that's why me and Arashi were like, yeah, these guys, they're like ants. They follow their queen anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter if the queen jumps off a roof, everyone will go. They won't doubt it. They'll think, yeah, this is the best decision of all time. We're going to go through it with it, and we're going to think through it. That's super hard to I mean, guys, you might, a few people might be skeptical. They'll be like, dude, that's so easy, you know? My friend makes a shot call.
Listen.
Yeah, I'll listen to my shot caller. It's not that easy, guys. If you're playing in the pro scene, everyone has an ego. Everyone has their own pride. Everyone has their own moments, right? They want to shine. But in this team, it just feels like they're not individuals, man. They're robots. They all have the same mind, and that mind is in the middle right there. Venus, it's oh man, like, again, as much as I want Indonesia to win, I've said this many times. I'm always like, yeah, I'm rooting for Indo, but this team is just so scary, bro. It's always so scary. They broke my heart a few times. Yeah, it broke my heart a lot of times actually. But it's because they're good, right? You can't really hate them. They play the game in a way that is just so unique.
I think you have to like give credit to how well they understand how to team fight as well.
Yeah.
Part of the stuff we were looking at is like they just really know like the winning conditions, you know. So whenever they have already, it seems like whenever they are in the game, right, since the beginning, they just know exactly what to do to win and what the opposing team needs to do to like win against them, right? So they just have all the counters prepared. So in that fight we're looking at, they just know like the composition. Their composition would win if they just hit them from behind, if there's no like front line essentially. So yeah, knowing that, it doesn't matter if they were a man down, it doesn't matter if one of them gets caught out. They just know exactly like, okay, even 4v5, if we can get this, if we can get behind them, if we can get in the right position, we can take the fight anyway. So how well they know how to play, and like the fact that they always like team fight together as well, right? I think that's just really scary, man. Some teams need to understand, I don't know, try and catch up and when it comes to like team fight decision making, or I don't know, try and get better in other aspects of the game, but everything just seems so solid for Blacklist.
You know what's even scarier, Arashi? You know what's even scarier than just Blacklist? Yeah, you know, it's honestly just getting really crazy right now because I spoke about this a little bit on one of my gameplay streams, right? Let's talk about this. Since this is basically the same, we're on the same topic because it happened during the IESF qualifiers. I said in my stream that Zapnu might have just been proven, you know, might have just been proven right by literally the performances of the PH amateurs, and a lot of media and a lot of fans took it the wrong way. They're all like, oh, so you think that the PH amateurs can shit on the Indonesian pros? I didn't say that. That's not what I said. I said that the PH amateurs, they were able to beat the pro PH teams. They were able to take games off of this roster right here. So what Zapnu said wasn't entirely wrong, right? Pro players can lose to the amateurs because of how good these amateurs are. And that's what's even scarier. If you think Blacklist if you think Blacklist is the greatest team of all time right now, that's personally what I think based on their accolades, their achievements. The fact that they've lost games against amateurs. This is scary. This shows that like the PH amateur scene is crazy, right? And if it keeps on going, that means that they have a bright future ahead of them. Man, I can't get behind this. This is crazy. I can't put my mind onto it. It just doesn't make sense, right? How are these amateurs winning against pro teams? How are these amateurs getting games and even like dominant games, Rashi? It's not like they just won a 30-minute hard-fought game. They were able to beat this Blacklist team in 10 minutes in game 1.
10 minutes.
10 minutes was all they needed to beat this team. What?
I don't know, I think some people would argue like, oh, maybe they're taking it easy, right? It's up against amateurs. But still, you know, it's like, it's still not an easy feat, right? I think there might be a possibility that like, with how the Filipino scene is looking right now, there's no arguing that it's getting a lot more, a lot more credit, right? A lot more like, I'm blanking out on the exact word, but people are accepting that Philippines is the region right now, right? The region. So I think as an amateur, exactly, it used to be Indo in a way, right? But like right now, with that being the case, for sure, if you're an amateur player in the Philippines, this is like a big kick in motivation. You know, like this is a time. This is the time. There'll be plenty of new teams coming up. Teams will be looking for new players, new talent. So I think that's not beyond imagination for like the amateurs to just improve at such a rapid pace, and they're matching up to the pro scene. I think we saw something similar in Indonesia when, you know, it was our heyday, right? So I think it's not impossible by any means.
Well, yeah. Again,
it's
not that rare to see this happen, right? Especially in scrims. There have been a lot of different scrims amongst the amateur MDL teams in Indo up against the MPL teams, and some of the teams were actually able to win against the MPL teams, right? Obviously, but the thing is, it's just scrims. We don't know, right? We don't know if that's actually them playing seriously, but if we're talking about a qualifier to get, it's different. It's different. Obviously, they're going to be focused, right? And even if they're not 100% focused, it's still so impressive. The fact that this team was beaten in 10 minutes by an amateur team. where whereas Onic PH weren't able to get a game off of these guys in the grand finals of M3. RRQ, same thing. Onic weren't able to beat them in M3. They were able to beat them at MPLI, but it's insane. This team has never lost to two teams, right? Like the two same team. This team has never lost to the same team twice. That's the right word. So they got beaten up by BTK. They met again in the lower brackets. They won, right? Onic ID and MPLI. Onic ID in the lower brackets of M3, and they won again. So every team that they've met twice, they've never lost twice. They've only lost once, max. That's what Venus said in the interview too. And so far, it's been pretty accurate, right? They've won everything with this roster. And the amateurs beat Echo. They beat the team. Oh my God. Echo had 0 losses at one point in MPL PH season 9. At one point they had 0 losses in the league. And an amateur team just beat them. That's fun. That's fun. That's fun to watch. It's very fun to watch as I think as anyone, right? If you see amateurs, you always
an MLBB fan.
Yeah, as an MLBB fan, you're always kind of rooting for the underdog, right? I felt that way when I was rooting for Falcon. And when I was rooting for basically any team that was going up against these monsters, because again, these guys are monsters. I refuse to believe that they're human. Right now, their dominance has been amazing and also pretty sad to watch as an Indonesian, but more amazing than sad because of just the impressiveness of it. But Arashi, because of this, PH amateurs, do you want to see an MDL for PH, man? I want to see an MDL for PH.
I do. Like, why not?
They deserve a scene.
Right?
Like, at this point, they deserve it.
I think like an MDL scene would also like. There's a lot of good things, you know. It's like extra. I don't know, extra entertainment and extra study material for the people in the scenes, right? In the esports scene of MLBB, and also gives a lot of opportunities for, like as we're saying, like the amateurs, the new talent coming up to actually have a venue, have a place to actually show off their skills, and maybe just prove to the scenes that, like, to the people that, okay, we deserve to be up there, you know, with the big boys, right? It's always this is how it goes in Indonesia right now, right? You shine in the MDL, automatically you kind of like secure some potential, at least some attention from the big coaches to see if they might want you on their MPL team. We've seen evidence of that happening this season alone. I think there is a few, right? I think from several teams. Right, so I think if there's an MDL scene in the Philippines, I think, again, just more opportunity and more growth for the scene overall. I don't think there's anything negative about that.
Absolutely. Hopefully they do make it happen, right? MDL in the Philippines would be great. But something else that's pretty interesting is, speaking of amateurs, full amateur team for Onic PH. This is a full rebuild for them, which is very interesting because with all the farewells that they were doing, I thought that Onic PH would be disbanded, right? Goodbye Dolarski, goodbye Baloyski, goodbye Kyrie, goodbye Yeb, everybody, hatred. Yeah, I'm trying to name everyone. Marky, I'm sorry if I forgot any of the substitute players, but everyone was kicked. Well, not kicked, but they were farewell. They were like, hey, goodbye, man. Have fun wherever you go. I thought Onic PH were done for. I thought they were going to disband, but they came up with this. They tweeted this. They posted this on IG. What? Full amateur roster for Onic PH. Bruh.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
That's really crazy. I mean, this is a move that can be really good or could be really bad, right? Because with this move, experience-wise, sure, they're amateurs. They're still good players. We've seen PH amateurs, but in the MPL scene, it's very different. When they're playing on stage, right? They're not playing online. When they're playing on stage, when they're up against, especially very aggressive people on stage like Kelra, the people who like to scream and yell, how are they gonna handle it? They can either, this could be really good. Maybe it's like, yeah, they don't have any pressure whatsoever. We're amateurs in the scene, but whoa. We got a donation. 136K from Melvin Tolentino. Shout out, Idol. Melvin Tolentino, shout out to you. 136K. Thank you so much for the donation, man. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. But yeah, this team. I'm very sorry, guys. I don't know much about the amateur scene in PH, so I don't really know any of the players. Very sorry. I don't follow the PH scene that much, except for the MPLID. Outside of MPLID, I mean, outside of MPLPH, I don't really follow the amateur scene and the others. So I can't really speak a lot about any of the players here. Maybe they're good. A lot of you guys seem to know who these guys are, and most of you guys are Filipino, so you guys should probably know. Are they gonna? How good do you think they are, Arashi? What are your thoughts on this crazy rebuild?
Well, considering that Onic PH, like the previous roster, isn't exactly like doing bad, you know. So that was already surprising that they were actually like quote unquote looking like they're about to disband. So the fact that this roster is taken in, like you get to wondering like what's the actual like reasoning behind it, or are these guys just that good that they're outshining the previous Onic PH roster? Because that would be insane, you know. Or is it something else? I think it's just quite interesting. I'm not sure if. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it will work out, right? Again, this is a very, this is a gamble. This is this is literally just a gamble, right? This is a gamble for them. Let's see if it works out. Let's hope it works out. But let's talk about something else now, right? Let's talk about something else because we don't really have much to say about this roster since we just don't know the scene. Let's talk about something that we do know, Arashi. And this is probably the last roster that we're going to be talking about, right? Because again, there's been so much going on. I've seen the Omega roster reveal. I've seen everything. And I think for the Omega one, it's pretty basic, right? Kill VJ joins in. I think we've had a lot of opinions on that. But what I do want to see, what I do want to talk about is right now, maybe the Indonesian scene, right? Because with all the imports going through, RRQ, they've still opted to go with the same exact roster. They do not want to move. They do not want to import players. They're still going with their same exact roster as MPLID Season 9, as MPLID Season 8 as well, and Season 7 basically. With this roster right here, Phil still as the coach. Thank you so much, Joe. Who do you got best? 5 Kages, Evo's World, or Blacklist? All right, before we talk about RQ, then let's talk about this because Joe just donated for this question. Arashi, let's start with you. Who do you think is the best prime? Let's talk about prime and let's talk about all time, right? Prime days. Who do you think is the best team in the world? Is it the Evo's World with Aura, Juan, Rect, Donkey? I'm forgetting one guy. Luminaire, yeah, there you go. Or is it Onic or Blacklist International? The M3 Blacklist.
All right, I'll be completely honest.
Prime first.
I don't know how Mirko feels about this, but I am relatively new, right? Compared to the rest, we're essentially like really new to the Mobile Legends scene. So full disclosure there. So I wasn't there during the heyday. I wasn't there to actually witness the greatness of the Kage era and Evo's World. But logically speaking, okay, the thought process here is that the game now, compared to like the game several years ago, has been a lot more competitive and a lot more complicated, right? We've seen an increase in importance of the macro play, not just the micro play, and in the different strategies and possibilities, and the fact that like the recent seasons has been very much putting an importance on adaptation and quick evolution, you know? So with that being said, I would say, logically speaking, that the dominant team right now must be a lot better than the dominant team back then, right? Logically speaking. So I have to go with like Blacklist. Yeah.
Damn. All right.
I guess.
Yeah, so like
that's a process. Okay. Like
prime.
I might be wrong.
Even
right?
prime. Like we're talking about two different things, right? Like prime and all time. Like their prime days. You still think Blacklist Prime is better than Onic or Evo's World at their prime?
Yeah. Again, due to like just like. Due to like the difference in like how the game is played now, you know, because like back then there was less emphasis on all the smaller details, you know, like lane management, objective control, right? I don't know, macro plays and shot calling, smart bans and you know reading the meta as well as they do today. So just because of that, I do think that like again current teams and like you know old teams, it's a bit of a similar discussion in boxing, right? People are saying like. Yeah, who's going to be better, like, of all time, you know? Is it, like, the champion now or the champion back then? And you got to make the argument that, like, you know, right now, if things are just that much more advanced, that much more complicated, right? I think that the ones that are the best in the modern era must be better, like, the ones previously.
So who's your boxing GOAT? Is it Floyd?
Oh, it's Mike Tyson.
So you're still going with the old guy in the in boxing. All right, yeah, because
That old.
yeah, I mean,
He's not
you
okay.
know, Mike Tyson's a good one. My personal one is Muhammad Ali still. Go. But yeah, going back to this, I think if we're talking about prime, if we're actually talking about prime, right? Like prime, I think I have to say Onic Kage. The Kage era. Oh man, I'm not just saying this to have a different opinion than Arashi, because I feel like, again, I'm pretty new to the scene, so I actually was not following MPL back when Onic were crazy, but I have watched a lot of videos on them, a lot of TikToks on them, and Onic Kage era, man, this team, oh my god, this team was insane, right? During their prime, they didn't lose, they were, yeah, they almost didn't lose any single game. They were able to almost sweep everyone through. And they won everything, literally every game in MPL Season 3, and they won every game in MSC 2019. This team was untouchable. They were not just unbeatable, they were untouchable, right? And the fact that they didn't have a coach, it was just 5 kids, literal kids at the time, going, reading the meta, and playing the game. It's insane. So for me, I still think that the Kage era, the Kage era, Onic, back in 2019, MPL Season 3 is probably like the best prime team, right? If we're talking just about prime, if we're talking about their dominance in one season. But if we're talking about all time, there's not really a debate here, in my opinion. It's Blacklist International. No debate if it comes to all time in terms of the achievements that they've been able to accomplish in a matter of a year. Literally a year, they were able to get 2 MPLs, grand finalists of MSC and MPLI, and M3 World Championships. You can add
But
C
Christian,
games
about,
too for the
like,
second year.
Prime or like all time?
Yeah, so if we're talking about prime, I still have Onikage, but if we're talking about all time, Blacklist International.
Is it talking about pitching them against each other, or like, are you he talking about like accomplishments and dominance?
Just like, I mean, it really, see, this is the thing, right? It's all really subjective. What do you think prime is? Because in my opinion, I feel like prime is just like, we gotta look at it at that time, you know? Because obviously, I do agree with you. As the game progresses, players now will be better than players before. Players now will be smarter than players before. But if we take a look at that time, right? These 5 members, I think what they were able to do, kind of overshadows what Blacklist was able to do right now in terms of prime, you know?
Gotcha.
But again, it was a shorter period of time. That's why prime is in the you know, that's why we're talking about the prime thing, because it's a short period of time. They weren't able to be dominant the entire year. They were dominant up until MSC. Then they didn't even make it to M2. I mean to M1, right? So again, it's still very debatable, very subjective, but that's how I think about it. Arashi obviously has a different opinion. He thinks Blacklist still in prime because of that. Because Blacklist now is smarter. But
Because I thought when you said like prime, you meant like, okay, like we compare those two teams during the performance during their prime, you know? Because if you look at like how dominant they look, yeah, but they can look more dominant, but at the same time, you can also make the argument that like the competition overall also maybe isn't as high as it is right now, you know? Because like, you know, speaking of like the teams they beat, etc., like Araki Hoshi is also like really good right now, but like you think they can go up against them, you know, they're better now than they were before, you know, right? So like, logically speaking, I think that if you just compare, if you're just pitching two teams in a match against each other, I think Blacklist still comes out on top.
Yeah, true. I think if they both go up against each other at their prime, I would actually say that, yeah, Blacklist probably wins, because again, as the game progresses, as the esports progresses, the players now will be smarter, will be more mechanically gifted than the players before. But again, like Sheffin mentioned here, Onic was ahead of everyone. They were ahead of their time, like by a long shot at the time, because again, they didn't lose any games. It feels like when you're watching them, it felt like you were just watching a shonen anime that was a little bit too shit because everything was going their way, you know? It's like the main character, it's literally just like Kirito and Sword Art Online. You were just watching that, but in real life. That was what the Onikage era kind of felt like, right? Because they dominated all around. No one really questioned if they were going to lose, in my opinion, like back in the day. But yeah, RQ, back again here. Because again, dude, that was all because of the donation, man. This is the real topic. This is a real topic. Thank you so much for the donation, by the way, Joe. Araki Hoshi sticking with our roster. I think it's a smart move. I don't think they need to change much. Considering again, this team literally just made it to the grand finals of MSC and they won MPL ID Season 9. The last team was able to get to a grand finals and win an MPL. The odd number MPL was Blacklist, and look what they were able to achieve with the same exact roster, right? Blacklist last year won MPL ID Season 7, got to the grand finals at MSC, lost it to Execration, won Season 8. Became world champions. So RRQ, they're trying to use the same formula that Blacklist used last year. Let's see if it works. If it works out.
Right. The only sub they have right now is Violence, I believe. Right. When I was watching the video.
Violence, Psycho, and Lemon, technically.
Right. But the other like quote unquote.
The juniors.
Like the juniors. Yeah. The only junior there is like Violence. And I think that considering that we were talking about this previously, right? The fact that like why they lost, we were talking about, it's not exactly just like poor performance. No, they performed really well. It just seems like Blacklist got like the other teams just got a read on them, right? Just they were able to just decode their playstyle. So it makes sense that they would keep the same roster and then develop other aspects of their gameplay, maybe better macro, maybe different strats, different looks, so that if as we mentioned before, like if teams were able to actually figure out their A game, they can go with plan B, plan C, and just be a lot more flexible and be that much more of a threat. Because overall, they are a very solid team and they've been performing really, really well, right? So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, to quote Mirko here. Yeah, no real problem. It's just like the whole, I think, and I've always been on the favor of like teams working out their problems, I don't like seeing changing players as like the go-to solution. Whenever I see a team and like it seems like their mentality is that, okay, we pick a player that's like the most problematic and we change that and that's gonna solve all our problems. Like, yeah, but like not really. There's no way that all your problems come from one person, right? And much worse if you want to change your whole roster, right? That's a bit extreme. I'm a big believer in like developing synergy and trust among the team, because like that's what having a competitive team is about.
Yeah.
If everyone's just in there to just to watch for themselves, right? And they don't care about the team, they don't care about the camaraderie. I feel like you're missing out on a huge part of like, I don't know what it is, what it means to be in a competitive team, in a top tier team, right? That camaraderie needs to be, I don't know, I think it's one of the big draws of like competitive games in general.
For sure, I agree with you, and that's exactly the same opinion that I have for RQ, right? It's interesting to see that they are staying with the same roster, but let's see how that works out. Now, though, let's talk a little bit about this, because everyone's been talking about it in the chat. I think this is the climax that everybody has been waiting for. Ducky, this is the last topic of the day as well, guys. In case you guys want to know, Ducky, this is interesting. Now, okay, I'm going to have to. I'm gonna have to just resize this, put it a little bit, so that you guys can you read it, Arashi? Are you able to read it?
Barely. Maybe a bit bigger for the homies with bad eyesight.
For the homies with that bad eyesight, here you go. We're gonna take a little bit of our cameras here, okay?
Oh, bookman.
Ooh, okay. So just as let's talk about it. Let's put context into it first, in case some of you don't know about what's actually going on. So in a YouTube stream, Zace explained that they won M1 without the help of Ducky, the coach of the M2 champions, obviously Brent Esports. Joe, I was hoping you picked BTR Season 7. They didn't even win MPL, man. As much as I do want to go for BTR, they didn't win, right? If they went on to win MPL and MSC, maybe. But again, thank you so much for the donation, though, Joe. Now, though, so Ducky has actually responded to this. Zace, I think, said this during one of his streams, but Ducky has responded. He said that, quote him again, haha, bro, I vividly recall you wanted to sign Kido plus Yor for that season. Ivan gave me the final say who to sign and fought for Juan plus Donkey because of their chemistry and Juan's skill ceiling. I even decided if we were going to sign Aura because he kept changing his mind about the duration of his contract. I called multiple people to vouch for him. I was even in a call with Eduard for about an hour just to make sure I was making the right decision. And my bad, I should have clicked see more. But what he was, and in the end there, he said that if that kind of help doesn't count, you can have all the credit, don't need any of it anyway. So there's a little bit of spice there too from Ducky, the M2 champs as well. Hello from Laos, enjoy your live stream. Thank you so much, thank you so much for the donation. But it's pretty interesting seeing two coaches of their caliber, right, going at it here in social media. What do you think, Arashi, about this? This is pretty interesting, right?
Well, first of all, it's like a bit unfortunate, right, to see like
Yeah.
Basically, like former comrades go up against each other, kind of. I don't know. I feel like in the first place, right, that statement that like, oh, he didn't help at all, it's just a bit kind of mean, right? Because like I'm pretty sure he contributed somehow. You know, like you can debate how much impact it actually has, but I think Coach Ducky has like a lot of accomplishments at this point as well, and like it's just difficult for us outsiders to just weigh in on this because at this point it's still like a he said she said, right? There's no real
Yeah.
evidence provided yet. There's no screenshots. There's nothing, and I don't think that there needs to be. You know, like yeah, it's cool, it's entertaining, right? It's spicy, but I don't know. It just feels like it's a bit too much bad blood, kind of. You know.
I see what you're trying to say. Yeah. I agree. But yeah, he's actually tweeted or he's actually posted something on Facebook again, Arashi. And I'm gonna pop that up real quick just so that everyone can see. There you go. He's actually said this as well. Dear Zace, you don't have to clarify anything to anyone really. What you said is true, and I'm not saying otherwise. My mistake is that I responded hastily without listening to the full context of what you said on stream. We both know what we did during those days, and it was a wild ride. Like I said, nothing changes. This is just a little misunderstanding that people try to sensationalize for clout. We good, my dude. And this is exactly the point that I wanted to make. Thank you so much, man. You see, guys, here, now, what you see from the media quotes sometimes are taken out of context. So just be smart, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Don't be riled up by one little thing you see in the internet. Coach Ducky here and Zace, they're good. They're all good. They're all good. You see, this, I wanted to see if you guys in the chat were going to be riled up as well. Like, oh, dude, a big L. Fuck Zace and shit. No. Well, boom. Everyone said it. Even Ducky here, he said it. What you said is true. I'm not saying otherwise. My mistake is that he responded hastily without listening to the full context. Context matters, ladies and gentlemen. Context matters. So, guys, yeah, they're friends. It's just a little misunderstanding, and this is what happens, guys. I'm not gonna mention it, but a lot of media, I'm not going to mention the media, but a lot of media and a lot of clippers, they take stuff out of context and people get riled up because of that. So stay smart, ladies and gentlemen. Don't instantly hate. Don't instantly take those quoted words because they can cut a few of those words and make it sound real bad so that everyone can go for clout, right? Technically, that's what I'm doing here. Thank you, Ducky, for this clout because I'm getting some viewers for it. Much appreciated, but I'm showing this as well, right? Because just to spread a little bit more awareness so that people can, can maybe think about it a little bit before they actually go and hate. Before they be like, hey, what the heck did Mirko say? PH amateur. Zapno was right? Oh my God, I need to hate Mirko. I need to report him. No,
Clearly,
yeah.
Mirko is still salty about that situation.
Yeah, because I got DM'd by a few Indonesian fans, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, you're so biased to PH. Are you even Indonesian?" And I'm like, "Bro, watch the video." Like, I didn't watch the video, but yeah, I got a few of those DMs. Yeah, this is a moment where we can talk a little bit about the hate, right? And for me, right now, I think I've like tried my best to be like, "Hey guys, you know what? Let's stop the hate, guys. Let's stop the hate, blah blah blah." I try to explain it and stuff in my streams. It doesn't work. You know what? Just ignore hate. That's how we deal with hate. We just ignore it because there's always gonna be hate. It's the internet, right? I've been here for my entire life, basically. There's always gonna be hate. It doesn't matter how many people are against hate. There's always gonna be hate. There's always gonna be dumb people, dumb little kids who don't understand anything. They don't take. They just read an article and they use that for their argument, right? So again, I'm not shitting on the Clippers. Some Clippers are actually really good. They're actually really kind. They put the context in, but some Clippers, they just put random stuff in and they make you look bad, right? I think a lot of people have been pretty vocal about this. I think Moba Zane actually mentioned this on a stream too. He's like, yeah, I don't want to say anything anymore about these like controversial topics because I'm just gonna get quoted out of context.
Yeah, especially when you're in stream, right? Sometimes the questions come from like your viewers as well, and I'm not saying like some viewers intentionally like spin things around, but there's only so much you can say in like a chat during a stream, and if the streamer catches only a small glimpse, the response is going to be appropriate to that without knowing like the full extent. So maybe that's what happened between Coach Jace and Ducky as well. I think it's great that they're actually like essentially buried the hatchet, and like as I said, it's
they're adults.
Exactly, it's great to see like they've reconciled. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, media these days, it's all about getting the views, right? Whatever you do, like the clickbait titles, again, not calling anyone out, but like clickbait titles and then like clickbait screenshots, and of course, like the spicier the take, the easier it is to get people to click on it, right? So I think it's just important to like, I don't know, chill out a bit and not instantly jump out. And obviously try and like think a bit about what people are saying, you know, like see if like maybe they make a bit of sense. You can see where they're coming from, because at this point, yeah, it's never really that simple, right? Nuance, there's a lot of nuance in like whatever we talk about. I mean, Mirko was talking about his haters being like calling him biased towards Philippines.
I'm a BTR fan, man.
I got a comment like on the previous podcast we were talking about how like I prefer like the Indonesian like aggressive playstyle, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying I preferred it. I never said it was better, but someone like went off on me on Instagram and
You
said like,
stupid boy.
oh, you how can you prefer a worse playstyle? What the hell? Like, and then like there's a bunch of like sentences like he just cut out, and you can clearly see like he just took like literally like 2 words out of my whole sentence, and like, see, you're just like a typical retarded like Indo pride guy. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he dropped the R word so guys, again, opinions. Everyone has opinions. This is a good moment to talk about it, right? Because again, I mentioned that I got a few DMs, right? Arashi got a few DMs as well. So Indonesia, Philippines, it's not really a matter of the nation. There's always gonna be these people anywhere in the world, right? So again, it's not targeted towards anyone. There's just these people nowadays. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the last topic of the day. You know, we're gonna talk a little bit more probably about this, but I do want you guys to leave a like. That shows how much you guys actually enjoy the content. Right now we're at 123 likes, but we have 339 concurrent viewers, man. I want to see that number go up. Maybe 200, maybe 200, 250. You know, let's get a high like count, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, like the video. It's free. That's how you support the channel. If you can't donate, I would appreciate a like. I would appreciate you guys just, you know, maybe just interacting in chat too. That would be much appreciated. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, they buried the hatchet. They're adults, and some people are like, "Yeah, read the Zay statement." Yeah, Zay's gave him credit for the rosters of Evo Season 4, and he also clarified things, right? So again, both of them very, very they resolved this like adults, right? They weren't fighting. They didn't go, they didn't shit talk each other and on Twitter or Facebook. They were just like, a little bit of banter. Obviously, there's got to be some spice there. When I mean, you know, can't really blame them. If someone told me that Arashi called me a little bitch, I'd be like, "Hey, what you mean, man?" And it was like, you know, it's just a joke. Oh, okay, cool. You know, it's just it's all sometimes things are taken out of context. Sometimes it doesn't really make sense. But they buried the hatchet. They're smart. They're and you guys should be too. Hopefully, the people who are watching this who are on, you know, we're picking sides already right before you even understood the situation. Hopefully, you guys this kind of opens your mind to these situations, right? There's going to be a lot of these in the future. 100%. Clippers, media taking things out of context and maybe just trying to start fire, right? But yeah, Arashi,
I really want to. I would say like, I don't know, get used to like maybe not being like tribal about it. I talk about like the tribal mentality a lot, but like some people really feel like, let's say, okay, like there's some controversy between like me and Mirko, right? Some people really feel like, okay, like I have to pick sides, you know, either Mirko is a complete asshole or like Arashi is just a piece of shit. It's like, yeah, no, like you can like try and like see the nuance and still like both, you know, and see where both is coming from, right? It's too much. Has there been like so many issues, especially online, where like people are like, right, pick a side. Oh, what, you don't like wanna, I don't know, you don't wanna like completely hate on Mirko, then you're an Arashi supporter, you're biased. Or you don't wanna completely like, you know, talk shit about Philippines, then you're like you're biased towards this community. It's like, no, you can like both, you know, like I personally like enjoy like scenes from like every single region of the MPL, right? But like some people are like, oh, if you don't talk shit about the Philippines, then you're not an Indo pride person. It's like, why? How? Why is that mutually exclusive? We can do both. Right, so like, don't be too tribal about it, guys. Come on, it's 2022. Like, we should be like more civil about this, by all means.
The more you grow up, the more you understand that the world isn't black and white. You know, it's mostly gray.
Hang on.
Yeah. What?
You calling me old?
No, bro. What part of that was like Arashi's old, chat? Can we get a hashtag Arashi is old in chat? No, but okay, that's it, guys. Yeah, Mirko's a PH lover. We need to jail him. No, bro. I am a world lover, bro. I love the world. Chat, dab. Arashi be like Indo pride is a reason. Yeah, okay, so here, Ferditan Inda. one of my buddies from real life. Why Indo never win? You know, it's a SarCAST podcast. We got to add a little bit of sarcasm. I don't know, man. Right now, it's not looking good, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We're progressing. We made it to the grand finals in an international event already. We're progressing. We'll get
them
right?
next time.
We'll get them. Mission failed. We'll get them next time. Black and white equals to gray. No, not the mixture of black and white. I'm not. Guys, stop. See, this is you're a clipper. Andreas, I'm joking. Mirko, please cast MPL PH again. Yeah, I'm just reading comments at this point. But join Arashi, like, dude, if you speak English, you gotta say like a million times. Like, that's just how you speak English, bro. Especially the Jaksel accent, right? No, it's fine, man. I do it a lot unintentionally.
I used to do it a lot more. It's like if you're saying like I say like a lot now, I used to do it a lot more, dude. Like
yeah.
Exactly. It used to be a lot worse, but by all means.
Yeah, same.
I streamed for a bit like back then, and you can't really see like if you watch the VOD.
No.
Even I rewatch it and be like, oh my god, the amount of likes in this in that one sentence, it's insane.
No worries, man. That makes everybody like you, Arashi, right? But let's talk about like why you lost like that spelling competition, Arashi. Like, tell us about like that, bro.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
please.
chat's asking, bro.
The shame. Like again, see, full disclaimer. Like, it's my bad, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so over in the English, in our English desk, we're used to saying it with heptases. Always, like if you watch NPLID and watch SarCAST in English, it's always bled of heptases, right? I'm not used to actually saying it with bled of the heptases. So I was kind of confused when I first heard it, and I kind of like went, all right, like I think. No, I'm just doing it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with what I'm used to the most, right? What I've always been doing, right? And I missed out on the. So yes, full shame.
You got cocky, man. Yeah, you were like, oh, I've heard this item a billion times, bro. Let me just wing it real quick. But yeah, it's unfortunate, guys. Sometimes these mistakes happen. We are humans, right? But yeah, Andreas, you're a walking L, man. Mirko and Arashi is the Batman and Robin of SarCAST. Batman and Robin? It's more like Batman
and Alfred.
And Alfred. Oh man. Yeah, but hey, yo, 25 pesos. It's me. I think you forgot to. I think you forgot to say something in the super chat. It's just the money. Thank you so much, though. What do you want to say? Why Filipino are toxic and Indos are excused? Dude, again, there's that's
toxic people everywhere.
There's toxic people everywhere, and that's the point we're trying to make here with all this drama going on as well. But I think that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We've been here. We've been live for an hour and 25 minutes already. I think it was a good stream. It was a good podcast already. We gathered the peak viewers like 300. No, we had 400 viewers at one point in the stream. So much appreciated, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, everybody, and thank you so much everybody who did leave a super chat message. Everybody who donated as well. I'm gonna be reading you guys out, starting from the Social Buzz donations. Thank you so much from Joe, who donated a whole lot of times. From you, Melvin, Tolentino as well, and thank you so much from Fritz for donating. And also now I'm gonna take a look at the super chat. The super chat people who were able to donate via super chat. Sheffin was one of them, and he just told me it was completely free for some reason. He 50K. He got a 50K super chat for free. All right, so congratulations, I guess, Sheffin. Thank you for using it on me. Thanks to everybody, the supers and today who were able to donate. I think the first one, yeah. I think, okay, 125 pesos from Yukimura, 50,000 Indonesian rupiah from Sheffin, K with 15 Malaysian ringgit, and another Filipino peso, 25 from It's Me, Otep. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to all of you guys. And now I'm going to shout out everybody in the chat. Obviously, starting with Claude Mania, my member. What's up, buddy? Shout out to LAC, Kim's, Andreas, Eldoba, My Kidney for Sale, Newborn, Louis J. Patubo, She, again, Janilius Sheffin, Right Lane, Ray Marcian, and just them saying it again and again. But ladies and gentlemen, before you do leave the stream, please do please like the video, show us some love, because we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna try to make it a weekly thing, right? So if you get that support, if you can't donate, if you can't chat, please do click on that like button, click on the subscribe button, because we're gonna be doing this a whole lot more. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time. Oh, wait, 50K from Iqbal. Thank you for the super sticker, man. Man, I almost missed that, Iqbal. You literally picked the last moment to do that. Thank you so much for the 50K, man. Much appreciated. But boom, bang, bada bing. Peace off, boys.
Drop the roof and let the smoke clear.